All right, everybody. So from a long break, I'm going to show you lower limb stuff, okay? So some of this stuff we already went over in lecture, and to make my video smaller, I'm not going to necessarily cover everything. I want you guys to be able to fill in the blanks from lecture, okay? So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to help you with reviewing the quadrant system for the lower limb. Remember, we're going to have four chunks of muscle, and each chunk of muscle is going to be innervated by a specific nerve from the lumbosacral plexus. So you're going to review what you already filled out from your quadrant charts for the hip thigh area, for the leg area. And then what I'm going to do as an added benefit for this is I'm going to label some of the leg muscles on the human model. Hopefully that maybe helps you a little bit with your practical exam as well, since I'm using some of the pictures of muscle models from your class. I don't know if you're watching this and you're from a different class where the muscle models are slightly different, then you can still apply everything to what I'm going to show you. I want you to think about for your exams and mostly for your exam that's going to cover this material. I want you to think more about the actions, but think about, what muscles are synergists? You want to think about synergists as muscles that are all working together to perform a similar or same action. And I want you to think about antagonistic muscles. What muscles are going to perform the opposite action? Okay. That's overall, that's what I want you to think about. And I'm gonna actually stop my video here up in the corner so that I have enough room to draw everything out. But you'll still be able to hear my voice. Okay. So we're gonna go and do the first part. We're going to do synergists of the hip and the thigh. You want to recall that the hip and the thigh is basically going from the coxa right here, right? Whoops. From the coxa. That's actually the iliac crest. And it's going to go down here to the knee. So that's our hip and our thigh area. So I tried to get as many pictures as I possibly could on here so I could label as many muscle models as I can, or I can label as many muscles as I can. And I'm going to color code this as much as I possibly can as well. So hopefully you already have your synergist chart filled out. I'm not going to fill out the muscles. I'm going to want you to fill out those muscles. I'm going to kind of just go over some basic stuff that you should have put here. So remember, anterior is innervated by the femoral nerve. And the two actions that we're going to have for these muscles is we're either going to have that it's going to flex the hip, or it is going to extend the knee. That's the case. So because you're flexing the hip, you want to think about your attachment point has to be above the head of the humerus. So because of that, you should see a lot of these muscles are actually pointing right here, right? So the anterior part of the ilium, and a lot of them point right there. So I'm just going to erase that really quick. They're going to point like right here. That's the anterior superior iliac spine. So they're either going to the anterior superior or anterior inferior, or maybe the head of the femur. But I like you guys to remember anterior, superior, superior iliac spine, because that's kind of the anterior portion of the ilium where many of these muscles will attach to. Not every muscle will attach there, but the ones that are kind of important for us, okay? And then you're going to see that it's going to have to go past the knee. So since you're going past the knee where I cut off right here, these muscles in the front actually go over the knee, and then they create this tendon right there, which my picture doesn't show you. And that tendon is the patellar tendon. So a lot of those come into the patella, the patellar tendon, or not the deltoid, I'm sorry, the tibial tuberosity. So if you're looking for a bone attachment, tibial tuberosity is the best one. If it's asking you about ligament attachment, that would probably be the patellar ligament. Okay. And you see that my other quadrants, I basically just like put on the other side and I have muscles on this side. So the muscles here, I'm going to let you fill out as I go through, and I'm going to label these muscles, but I'm going to do something different where I don't write the name of the muscle. I want you guys to do that instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline them in the color that they're innervated by, and then I'm going to give them a number. And I'm going to tell you number 1 is iliacus. And then we see that over here, this muscle next to iliacus, so iliacus goes into the iliac fossa, and then next to that is number 2. That is the psoas major, okay? So some of you who came to Open Lab or have looked at the models in my class, sometimes you ask what's the difference between some of these muscles right here. So remember, we're going to use the femoral triangle, and the femoral triangle, well, you want to think about the femoral navels, okay? So that's the femoral navel. The femoral navel is going to include, right, femoral. 1 is the vein. Okay, so the vein is blue. The artery is red, and then the nerve is actually yellow right there. And then the L part is the lymphatic, which you can't see. So the femoral navel helps us actually understand anterior quadrant from the medial quadrant. And I know you're saying, what the hell did she just write? I did it in order, but this should be nerve, artery, vein, lymphatic, like that. So that's going to help me realize that everything to this side has to be femoral. So everything that's on the like lateral side of this large strap-like muscle right there. Wow, that was like really off. I'm very sorry. My writing structure that I use is probably far less sophisticated than your guys' iPads that you all have. Okay, so that is sartorius. So we can put that as our number 3 muscle. Everything lateral to sartorius and in the anterior portion of the leg is all innervated by the femoral nerve. Okay, so over here I can put muscles like 1, 2, 3. And then this is going to be the quadriceps. One of my quadriceps is missing right here. So number 4 is vastus medialis. Then we see rectus femoris will be in the middle. So I'm going to put a 5 here. And technically on this picture, you see how I've cut that off right there. So actually I'm going to put number 5 here. Number 5 is rectus femoris, which goes over the top. And number 6 is vastus intermedius, which is the deeper muscle. And then we see number 7 right there. That is vastus lateralis. So vastus lateralis is on the lateral side of the leg. Remember, the IT band covers it. And then the last muscle here that should only be a half of a muscle. So just basically you're going to cut that muscle in half. This is going to be number 8. Number 8 is the tensor fascial lata. So remember, tensor fascial lata is innervated by both femoral nerve and superior gluteal nerve. It's actually on the lateral side as well, okay? So you guys have to go in and write the names for muscles 1 through 8. Then we're going to see on the medial side, so on the medial side of the femoral navel right here, these are all my medial quadrant muscles. They're all innervated by obturator nerve. Their actions are adduct, right? Adduct our hip, okay? Because they are going to adduct the hip, that means they're going to move the femur. We want to see that their attachment is like right here. You see how that muscle is attaching here and here, and why you needed to know your bones, because that's the pubis right there. Then they're going to all come down, and they actually, if you can kind of see their fascicles wrap posterior, so see those fascicles, they wrap posterior into the femur, and most of them attach at the linea aspera. Okay, so these muscles I'll keep numbering. I'm going to start with number 9. And then you can see on this side here also, I'm looking more at the medial side of the hip and thigh. So this muscle here, which is the other strap-like muscle, that is this big inner thigh strap-like muscle right there. This is going to be my number 10. I hope you guys can see that numbering. Sorry. Number 10, maybe I'll pick the other, oh, sorry. Pick the other green color. Let's see if that green color is a little bit better. Yeah. Number 10 is gracilis. Okay, so that is our medially situated muscle that's covering everything. And if we really start at the top here at the femoral navel, we're going to see number 11 right there. That's pectineus. You can always understand pectineus because pectineus is where those blood vessels and that nerve cover. And then this next muscle here that I'm going to label number 12, everybody has come, not everybody, but lots of people have come and asked me what that is. That's adductor longus. So you want to see that the femoral triangle is that area right there. It is made up of the inguinal ligament at the top, sartorius on the lateral side, and adductor longus on the medial side, okay? And then the next muscle is a little tiny area right here. You see the fascicles running in that direction. It looks really small here, but this muscle is actually going to be quite large, and you can see it on the back area right there as well. So that muscle is number 13. This is adductor magnus. Some of you might ask, well, where's adductor brevis? So adductor brevis is a deeper muscle. It's found underneath number 12. So you have to remove number 12 from the model to see adductor brevis that is a deeper muscle underneath there. So you're going to see that the medial muscles, we're going to go from number 10 all the way to number 13. Actually, what I should do is maybe I'll also here, number 10, let's say number 14. We're going to say number 14 is deep. Okay. Something you want to know for your lecture exam, lab test, maybe, maybe not so much. We're kind of looking at superficial based muscles, but anything that's on your list for your lab is perfectly fair game. Okay. So I'm going to stop my video here and I'm going to work on the next quadrant in another like smaller chunk of the video.